welcome back. So where we left off, we did the routed this and these, and today we're gonna install some frets because I started to dress the frets, and then I realized this one was lifting out of the edges, and then I looked at all of the frets and most of the fret ends are lifting out. Normally it wouldn't be a big it's really easy to glue them back down, and I could show you that, but these are nickel frets, and I really wanted to use these stainless steel jumbo frets, and that way I'll never have to refret it ever, and it'll just be my awesome shredder guitar. Plus, if I remember correctly, when this was an ernieball guitar, the neck it had stainless steel, and I think it's just fitting. Also, the last thing I got to do the nut. I actually already did, but I'm gonna still show you how I did it. It's really simple, really simple. So actually, let's dive right into that. And now I'm gonna take the camera out of my holder, and if you see, I'll be sideways. Sorry. Screwed in. So, see how flat and perfect that is. That's exactly what you want. You want a good flat surface. Also, how to get it to the right depth. But what you have to do, let me go grab my templates. Something like this. And you need something flat for the. This is just a piece of MDF board, but what you want to do is line that up flush with the fingerboard, completely flush, and then you clamp this to it. I put a clamp right here, and I put a clamp right there. It's got to get to the middle of the neck. So this is just an example. I used a smaller piece. This just was easy for me to grab for the sake of the video. And then I took my router and set it to the floor. Maybe like this. Real easy. And just set it so it touched, just was resting on the flush wood, and it routed all that old glue, and it routed everything away. And I just did one pass, literally one pass. I know this is not a great example because of the, there, there's something like that, and then it just went once, and with the bit, still plugged in. Oh man, it's still plugged in. Okay, it's dangerous. You don't want to screw around touching a router when it's plugged in and you're not intending on using it. So I just took it one pass. The width of the blade is actually perfect. One pass. Just all I did. I honestly wanted to record it, but I forgot. I had done it, and then I said, oh crap, I forgot to press record. So anyways, all that being said, let's yank some frets out. Oh man, my thingy, my camera thingy. Okay, cool. All right, so you've never done a refret before. There's a myriad tools, and I'd apologize for my messy bench, but I feel like I owe you an apology. I feel like that's my business. All right, so here's your tools. See how marred up and crappy this one. This is old. See how I destroyed it trying to use it on something I wasn't supposed to be doing. For years and years I used these for pulling frets, but nowadays I use this guy, and it's seen better days as well, but it's much better. And ideally what you want to do is if the frets are glued in, which mostly they are, you want to heat up a soldering iron and heat up the fret itself. Once you start to see the glue bubble up, you can go ahead, you want to start at the end, all the way at the end, and try to get under it. And slowly, just slowly bite under it. Also a good idea, see, and you can get right up under it, you want to get right on the edge, slowly, 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 so, like that. If you take a wet paper towel and you drench the whole board, get it pretty wet, you know, the moisture from the water will prevent the board from chipping up. And actually, these frets don't seem to be glued in. Like, I'm not even having to heat them up. I heated up the first one I took out, and there's no glue. So yeah. These are just, and that's probably why the fret end were lifting, because they were never glued in. Because this guitar is made in, this neck was made in Indonesia or something. They just never glued it, which, you know, whatever. Makes my life easier. I'm not complaining. Even if they had glued them in Indonesia, I guarantee the fretwork would have been horrible. So here we are. This is a 24 frets. So this is going to be a badass shredder guitar. And I mean, these are coming out super easy. This is the ideal. If you're gonna do a first time fret job on a neck, and honestly guys, another good way to do this is remove the neck from the body. I'm definitely going to do that at some point. After I'm, you know, at some point what I'll probably do is awesome. Some of these tools, they're not necessary. There, there. Edit that later. If I can get for doing this on the camera here, I'm gonna pause it again. Look at that, clean my bench, and it still looks atrocious. Not really. I'm not sorry. Again. Okay, there we go. Just install this nut so I don't lose it. It's a very me thing to do is to remove this nut and then freaking set it down and then knock it over. Like dressing these new frets or something, or knock down and just lose one of these. Gosh, it's just so me, such a me thing. All right, so back. Got some of the tools off the bench. Some of them. Here we go. Look at this tool. Look at this. See that? See how I did that? I took the belt sander, the round part, and I went up it. I'm like, sparks, sparks, just like that. I mean, it's a good little hook, and then I sharpen this, so if I have to cut you ear to ear, I can do that. There you go. And like I said before, these don't really have glue, so I'm having to clean out the funk, make it a little easier for the new frets to sit in there. But the way they do these I'm gonna have to nip some of the fret end on. There's no binding on this neck, but the way I guess the CNC machine slotted this board, which is actually pretty cool, is it's basically faux binding. Like they just cut the slot not all the way out, so there's like just about a 64th of an inch of wood. So what I'm gonna do, so I don't have to cut each fret slot, it'd be easier just to remove just a little bit of the tang. I don't know. I am getting some dust out of there. It's not. If these were glued, they weren't glued very well. There's not a little bit of dust and crap. It might be glue, but it's. I mean, saw how easy those things came out. This is going to be the easiest, most ideal fret job ever. Well, what's not ideal is stainless steel. It's always hard on your tool. That's why all my tools are trash from all the stainless steel ones. Refrets I've been doing, but at the same time, it's the best. I always recommend stainless steel. I tell people all the time, if you're gonna reframe your guitar, why, if you're gonna spend the money, why ever have to do it again? If you plan on keeping the guitar for a long time, if you plan on never selling it, then it's worth it. I charge about $350 for a stainless steel refret, which some people charge more. I don't think anybody's charging less, and if they are, they're posing themselves. But just to give you a little perspective, for a regular refret, it's like more like $280. Alright, we got our frets removed. And all the slots cleaned out. Now we can begin the process. Get you a little close. The process. So, it's my big ass frets. I'm gonna have to show y'all how to do this. So, helps to have a little block with 24 holes marked. It's called Fretatron, I believe. Should make a bunch. Should sell it. So, we have to bend our fret wire to match the radius. We're also going to have to nip it. I'm just going to do a couple of them to show y'all. It's good to have a miniature vise. Stuart McDonald. There we go. The idea is you want to over radius it slightly. So take my neck off. Faster with a drill. Drill dead. But actually, I have a battery. There I go. Sorry. And that is still a really tight fit, which is just what I want. Okay, wow. Okay, now we got some space to work. And bag of rice. Lay my neck on. It's good because you can move it around. It's good for hammering the frets in. All right. Alright, okay. Let's see if we can't move the crap around. Get to see what y'all's view like. There you go. So, you're gonna want to cut these. God, I'm not looking forward to this because this crap is just so bugging this file. Oh man, can't speak. So here, let's just hope this. Okay, so yeah, I like to let it overhang about 1/8 of an inch. Cut it flush on one side. About yay. Okay, this is number 24. I always start. God, stainless steel frets are a motherfucker. They really are. This is how you ruin your tools, guys. Stainless steel frets. Get fucking shot into the oblivion. Here it is. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to use this guy. So, yeah, stainless steel frets, old tools. Not a good combination. There we go. We gotta cut the tang. And we're also gonna have to run a magnet. See, if you leave this on your bench, it's gonna cut up a guitar, so you pick all those guys up. And I'll kind of test. See it? Yeah. Am I within? Yeah, perfect. So you want it. And we're going to place him there. Just like that. Just like that. So now, go to the next one. It never gets easier. Ever. So it looks like get about 3 frets for now per stick. That'll change to probably about 5 or so. Once I bust into the smaller frets. This is a pain. Okay, there we go. That's what you're going for. Focus. Okay, that's what you're going for. It's also very possible that the fret ends on the last frets came out because, and actually I'm almost certain this is what happened, but what happened was the, although they may seem like they're cut all the way out, and maybe they were originally and they were just plugged up with some wood, but the frets I took out were nipped like I'm doing, see? and without the tang in the wood, and they probably weren't glued, they just lifted right out right there, creating uneven frets. I never owned this guitar as this neck on a working guitar. This was given to me, and I'm sure it played like pretty buzzy. And it was a guitar. Probably the reason why it got taken off whatever guitar it was on. I digress. This process can take a minute sometimes. So after this one, I'm gonna cut it off and try to crank these out a little faster. So, see you guys on the flip side. Stop. All right, so we're back. Last time, actually, I was cutting out. Well, I say last time, it's the same video, but I had to take a couple days off of this because I broke my tool I was using to nip the fret ends. To do that, my tool broke because it's just 10 years of cutting stainless steel. Anyways, I got this tool from Amazon, from Radio Shack apparently. It essentially does the same thing, but I had to cut my own groove in it with a file. See the groove, and for the fret to sit in it right. $12. The Stu Mac tool costs $55. So if you're handy with a file, save yourself some money. $12. Anyways, I started hammering these frets in, and I realized, oh crap, I'm supposed to record this. So there's that, and that went in beautifully. So what I like to do, the way I was taught, is to hammer them all in and then nip them. But then you get in your own way when you're nipping them with them all in. So I like to nip them as I go. And these fuckers. Jesus. Stainless steel, man. What am I? I swear I do it to myself. Okay. Blam. Just like that. So I'm just gonna do a quick example of a few of these. I give it a little bit of super glue, just a little, not too much. Since I'm doing the edges with no tang, definitely putting a dab of glue on each edge, and then a couple drops along it, not much. So the way to do this is hammer in the ends, then come down it. You don't want to use the metal end. It'll mess up your fret. You want to use the plastic. This is just a counterweight. Also, this is a bag of rice. It just helps absorb the shock. That's mixed up in there. So, do a couple of these, and then I'll cut the video. Move on to the next part. Same thing, we do a couple dots of glue, little dots a little bit. I don't want to have to clean up a bunch of squeeze out from super glue. It's not ideal, but also if I have to, I can, just quickly, and it won't grossify the board. Quick wipe if I need to, and barely any squeezed out. So, and you want to check them. You want to make sure your fret's seated all the way in, because the better you get these seated, the less leveling you have to do. And when you're leveling stainless steel, jeez, it takes forever. Although I can say that, you know, you want to do all the leveling you can. I mean, you really want these things to be true. You don't want any uneven frets. You really don't, because uneven frets, I mean, every guitar, anybody who knows me knows that every guitar from Guitar Center or Sam Ash, any music store, has uneven frets to some degree. Some worse than others. I mean, some are brand new, you know, Gibsons, and cost $2,000 and they have uneven frets. Some are $800 Schecters, some are $400 ESP. You know, they all, every brand. That's all you need, man. Wipe of the glove. Just for good measure. Really, you don't need a lot of glue. You just want to make sure that these frets aren't going anywhere. And I mean, you can put them in. You can really put them in with no glue. But then once the weather changes, I'm in Florida, so it stays pretty humid most of the time, but we do get some dry. You know, middle of the year, I mean, well, February, I guess, beginning of each year. March, and so you get some dry, and that will, once it gets humid again, that fluctuation, you know, that'll mess you up. So I don't know. I would imagine that the colder states, when they go through any kind of heat and then go back to cold, you're gonna have some frets lifting out. You're gonna have some necks being bowed. You're gonna have some movement, and movement, guitars, never great. You guys get the point, so I'm going to cut this off, bang these out, literally. And then next time you see them all, and then we'll start doing the bevel, and we'll do the level, bevel and the level. Yeah. Okay. Now we shall bevel. Frets. I already started it a little bit, but you want to get yourself a file, and the idea, let's see if y'all can see, is to start flat, and once you get flush, to give it that 45-ish, call it a 35-ish. So this process can take some time, especially with stainless steel frets. Some people like to use these triangle files. I don't mind them. Really, my favorite is the bastard mill. Some people like to use that StewMac fret dressing file. Again, great choice. And here, now I'm going to start to bevel. Oh, and StewMac makes a tool where essentially it grabs, here's an example, it holds the file, clamps the file in at that angle, so you can just give it that perfect bevel. But as with everything StewMac, be prepared to pay. I had made one before, just a block of wood and some wing nuts and some washers, and it just cut about halfway through the block, I cut a 45-degree angle on a table saw. It actually worked great, but I lost it over the years of moving several times. But you don't need it, man. Just do this. Good practice. And yeah, I still got a long way to go. And you know, even doing that flush part where I do it this way, you guys didn't see. I was doing that for 20 minutes before I even turned the camera on, just to save time on the video. So I'm gonna cut it off, and when you see me again, I'll have both sides done. When I do the other side, I'm just gonna turn the neck this way. You can do that on a bolt-on. Sometimes you're doing an acoustic or a set neck guitar, and yeah, it's awkward. Okay. Long couple of seconds. Just kidding. All right. So beveled. My next move is going to be to level the frets. Now before I smooth these out, because they're still, even though they're beveled and they're flush, they're still kind of sharp feeling. It's just because they're not smoothed over yet. So what I'm gonna do, what I like to do, I'm going back in, get this down there. This is a aluminum block with 400 grit sandpaper on there that I've used a bunch of times, but it should be fine. And then I have a 1000 and 1500 one. But basically, after I get it leveled, I'm gonna crown it, and when I crown it, I'm going to use my crowning file to round over, and then I'm gonna go with a fret end file to really give it that. So here's the diamond crowning file, and here's my fret end file that I'm gonna use. But for now, I'm gonna level. Also, before you start leveling, you want to make sure you have a slight back bow, not heavy, but just enough that the weight of the sanding block is going to basically straighten it out. You know, so you don't want a severe back bow, and you don't want it to be forward bowed, and you don't want it to be dead flat, because essentially you're going to emulate dead flat. You're going to emulate string tension with the weight of your block, and you don't need to really push. You know, you can do this. And you don't want to stay in one place too long. You've got to remember that there is a radius to the fret wire, radius to the fingerboard, and we're just gonna keep that as true as we can. This actually, the frets aren't super uneven. I did a really good job of hammering them in there. Not to toot my own horn, but I've done this before. So, and that is attested to, what it really comes down to here, I'm going to do it this way so you guys can maybe see much better, but it comes down to is cleaning. Remember in the very beginning of the video, when I was cleaning out the fret slots with that X-Acto knife that I had modified, that is what's going to give you absolute best fret seating, I guess. Also, your fret ends, you know how I clip the ends with the tangs, even though there's no binding, but the way these fret slots on this guitar were cut, they were cut not all the way. I guess they're cut with a CNC machine, which makes sense. And so there's no tang all the way up to the end, which on one hand makes my life easier when it comes to smoothing out the ends, but it keeps it from seating in there really good. So I had to glue each fret end. So doing that will help, help with this process, because whatever is uneven, you're gonna have a lot harder time leveling that out, and when you go to play it, it's not gonna play really good. So, uneven frets. I say this all the time. Every guitar you could pick up at the big box store has uneven frets. I don't care how much it costs. They just don't take the attention and the time to do this. this takes time. Any guitar setup I do, and I can upsell, which isn't that much more money, to a fret dress, the customer is always so happy that how good it plays. You know, I've had several people just bring me guitar back to back to do the fret dress and the setup. I mean, it pays for itself. You have a guitar that plays really good. And I'm gonna check, so glad I had this out. I didn't want to go searching for it. It's a StewMac fret rocker. Have a little bit more to go so far. So you get a little rocking, but it's really not that bad. Did a good job. So I'm gonna cut the video, do more leveling, and when we come back, I'll show you the crowning. All right, after changing sandpaper a couple of times, finally there. Crowning time. Oh, I'm dumb. Before we crown, shine them up a bit. What I learned from Bill, the late Bill Covert, while I was at Local Lumber in Maitland, Florida, is to polish them up. Not like our final polish, but just a little bit so we can see the glare from the light. And we can know, you know, just, some people use marker. I guess I'll show you that method. Actually, I don't like the marker method. I like Bill's method, but, you know, I'll show you both. So, really would like better to use Sharpie right here. You draw an ink line and don't draw over the fretboard. You carve away at it till the ink line is real thin. You know, yeah, it's dumb. Don't like it. So this is a diamond file. Set to my jumbo one. And well, a diamond file is great. It's really great because it really takes a lot of the work out of here. You can do some of these so fast, especially on a high register. But and these ones were installed so well that I barely had to dress them. But of course, as with any fret dress or refret, you really want to give it a slight ramp at the end. But these, man, I mean, they went in so nice, all of them. I had a couple of uneven ones that I was able to, I mean, it's almost like it came out so good. I barely have to, I mean, the diamond file does a lot of work, but really impressed with myself with the ease of this. And after I get these crowned, I'll go and show you the round over in my ends. I actually hit the sides with that leveling block, and all that did was kill the sandpaper fast. So I had to change it, which I pretty much suspected. Yeah, so down here, this is where I'm gonna have to do more crowning on these ones. Yeah. It shouldn't be that easy, just so you know. If you're doing this at home and thinking, man, you barely did it, that's because I didn't have to level them that much. Therefore, they weren't that flat. So if you come on the fret and just round it over, and then kind of come in this way, kind of come in that way. This one, and that'll make your life so much easier later. And I can't stress enough the diamond file. So I'm gonna basically do that to all of them. I don't know. Let me see the camera angle. Let's see if you can see it. So down, turn, turn. Give it a couple. Like that. All right, okay. They're all rounded over, much better. Still not quite there. So I got some leftover 400 from when I had to cut it to size. So what I'll go ahead and do, my badass scissors, is fold up a piece of 400, and I'm just gonna, let me fold it one more time. Just kiss these edges. This is pretty fine. If I hit the fingerboard a little bit, that's only gonna help. Blend some stuff in. I mean, I'm gonna polish everything from 1500. I'll probably start at 800 and go. I'll probably go from 400 to 600 to 800 to 1500 and so on and so forth until 12,000, until it's like at the super shine. So yeah, this 400 grit touching the fingerboard ain't doing nothing bad, that's for sure. And if there's any spots where my file might have touched the edge of the fingerboard, this will help blend that in. And I mean, you can see this shit got thrashed. So not the fingerboard though, the sandpaper, from how sharp some of these are still. But this will finish it off. And anything, I mean, they seem pretty smooth. I mean, compared to how it was, I don't think I'm like not even cutting it anymore. Yeah, it's really good. It's not quite there, but it's getting there. I don't think I'm gonna use this file today, but I'll show you just for the sake of it. What I like to do is come in on top, kind of just like that, like that. And that'll really help get burrs out and stuff. But this fret job is, I mean, my old mentor Bill used to always talk about steps and going in order, and if you go out of order, that's what makes things take long. That being said, I cut this video off so many times to, I mean, if you guys were to watch the entire process, it would be a 3-hour long video. That being said, any fret job that can be done in under 3 hours probably isn't a good one. I don't care what anybody says, this takes time. It didn't help that when I was starting this, that I broke my fret tang nipper and I had to actually order a tool, wait a couple days for it to come in, and then modify said tool just so I didn't have to spend $55 with StuMac plus shipping. Their prices are, I mean, they have great products, but their prices are ridiculous. I don't know what they're smoking over there. I guess they gotta get rich. But at some point, I mean, at a certain point, you could be profitable. And I mean, they lost business. If there was a $35 tool, I would have bought it. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be, because that tool I bought is actually a better tool in functionality, a better tool in, like, the cutting mechanism is just better, and it was $12, and all I had to do is take a file and file a groove into it, which took some time to do that, but I mean, the money I saved, I mean, just totally worth it. Yeah, I mean that's what you want. This is exactly what you're looking for right here. See if you can see. See that? That's what you're looking for. Nice and smooth. Yeah, you run your finger up and down that, you can, nothing, no snagging. Feels great. So all I have to do is this side, and then polish it, and we're all done. So, cut it one more time. All right, cool. For this last part of the process, we're gonna polish it. Should have been probably wearing these, but it's hard to stop and start the video with gloves on. So these literally aren't for any type of safety purpose, although they might be. But for me, it's just to keep this damn fret dust off of my hands, because the shit, your hands are freaking gray and black and shit. Okay, so 1500. Go ahead and get those ends. I know of people who they only go up to 1500 for this process. It's, to me, it's fine, but on nickel frets, but I always go to 12,000 anyways. But on stainless steel, to really get that mirror finish, you need to run through this micro mesh like twice, all the way through. And you can get crazy good finish. And when I was at Lyrical Lumber, we used to use a buffing wheel. That's the fun one, but you don't need to. I mean, I would do this and use a buffing wheel, but you don't need to buff it at all. It might save you a couple pads of mesh, because you don't need to go all the way to 12,000. But okay, 1500 done. On to the next one. It's hot out here, guys. I'm in my garage. Where my workshop is, which is really cool. I love it. I have a fan. I have a fan. I have an air conditioner out here, and it's not on right now because I have the garage door open, and I just should be using it. Here I am, just sweating like a hog. Okay, there's 2,500. This is going to be 3,800. Keep doing that. Just look at that already. Already it looks so good. Look at those frets. I'm gonna keep going at it. I'm gonna cut the video. It's gonna take me about 15 minutes to do all of this. Alright, I think this is gonna be the final take of the video. My thing, my boom arm doesn't want to comply. There. That's the stuff the dreams are made of. Don't buy into big polish, to big guitar polish corp. I mean, Music Nomad, they're great. As far as all of them go, that's the one I would pick if I were to spend too much money on guitar polish. On essentially a car polish. Why not go straight to the source? That being said, McGuire's, my dear boy, or girl, either way, McGuire's. So you want to really get in there, give it that mirror finish. It's gonna be great. These are gonna be awesome playing frets. This thing is gonna shred, and when I'm done, I'm going to post a video of me doing all of the arpeggios. E to E. Play freaking Jason Becker on this thing. Because that's what this thing's going to be. Jason Becker meets freaking Alexi Lyle meets your favorite guitar player. And time. Done. Frets complete. Look at this thing. This frets. Woo! Oh, as always, if you liked the video, smash like. If you didn't like the video, smash dislike, comment, tell me why, tell me what I could have done better. I like criticism. Tell me what you liked. If you have any questions, please comment. Subscribe if you want. I'm not doing this for any other thing but my personal joy of doing it. I love doing this. So if you enjoy watching these, I enjoy making them. Have a good day, everybody. Little after shot. Just look. Look how polished. Man, look at that fret. I don't even think the camera does it justice. That's a beautiful fret.